Hello, friends. Can you hear me? Okay. In today's class, we are going to read. Actually, I must not read because if I uh, start reciting or if I explain, okay, the meaning of a poem, complete poem, we need to start by giving you line by line explanation of the poem, right? So, all I will do actually is I'm going to give you first the reason. I would like you to know why the poem Keeping Quiet was written by Pablo Neruda. He actually got Nobel Prize for literature. He was not a very what can I say? He was not a very ordinary person. He was not an ordinary person. He was awarded or given, understood, Nobel Prize for literature. Clear? For his contribution to English literature. In this poem, the poet, actually through this poem, the poet protests against the misuse of human existence. We are proud of the fact that we are living in a beautiful modern world, but the reality is very opposite. Reality is totally opposite of what we boast of, what we uh, we are. We are opposite of what we are. Don't you feel like an animal living in jungles? Sometimes it seems to me as if I'm an animal. Why do you know? Why do you think you are an animal? Because everything we do isn't it? Is not like they're a human being. Look at a life 100 years back. Look at life uh, 200 years back. Or even if you see uh, uh, the world's old cinemas, okay, where characters, the lifestyles uh, depicted or shown in those movies will be somewhat different from the ones we see today. Don't you think that it is today's movies, today's life is totally different from the ones we had 100 years back? If I am not right, you tell me. I don't have any problems. I remember, especially when I was a little boy, okay, when I was in school, I still remember, maybe, it's around 40 years back, okay, 40 years back. No, 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 not 40, maybe 30. Even 30 years ago, what I found in a country, in a state like West Bengal, I remember my father coming from office to tell me what I missed. Maybe a news on the TV or maybe good news in the newspaper, which I missed reading, which I didn't read. I still remember the way he lived his life, the way he spent his time, the way we all were is totally missing. The families I see around me are like machines, with no life in them. Father's coming from office, he doesn't have time for his children, and he has a world of his own. There is no communication either between husband and wife like the ones 30, 40, 50 years back. And even the children are also feeling lost and lonely because either their father or their mother are so busy doing their own work, they have less time. If you present yourself the way the babies presented themselves before their parents 100 or maybe 50, maybe 30 years back. You, you're behaving like that will be strange to them because they are used to a different type of life. We are used to a different type of life, and we are really fed up with the one we are living. And Neruda is protesting against the change in the way we live our life. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Hello? Isn't it? We have done a somersault. We have changed a lot.
Yes.
Is this how we have come to live this world? Are we machine? Do you ever ask yourself the question, only one question? Are we man or machine? Aim starts, aim starts, machine starts with M, and even man also starts with M. And there is hardly any difference between man and machine. Is this why we have come? Then we have become non-living. When you are compared with machines that have no life, then there is nothing left in your life. If a man has changed into a machine, is there anything left in life? Hello? Is there anything left in life?
No.
A life without beauty, a life with no life in it is not life. And this is why this poem is a protest against how we are killing ourselves. Is not it the killing of people in this world? Isn't it isn't it a very deplorable, very bad condition of human society? Or existence of humanity is at stake. It is on the verge of extinction, right or not? We are brought face to face with destruction. We are living in danger of losing our existence. We already lost touch with reality of human existence. And the poem is a protest. Keeping quiet. What can you do by keeping quiet for a short span of time? What if you look at the original meaning of the word keep quiet, understood, and silence. Keep silence. There is difference between what is uh, you know maintaining silence for a longer period of time, and if you are keeping quiet, just the poet wants you just to keep quiet, temporary pause for a moment. Look back on what you have done. Just to look back, just to have a look at who you are, what you should have done, and how you are passing your days as a human. Just look back on what you have done recently. The humanity is losing its touch with the real world in which it should live. And if it doesn't live, or if the humanity is not living its existence, what is it? We are all disappearing from the face of the earth. It's no use living in this world if we are machines. We haven't come to this world as machines. We still, speak in a language. But all we have done, as we are so busy earning and spending money, as we are so busy doing things that are very important to us, we have hardly any time left to look at the beauty of life, beauty of who we are, beauty of why it is called life. Is this why we have come? to end up inside the classroom when you are a student, to end up inside the office when you are a working person, to end up inside the kitchen to make the family foods and the dishes. This is not life. I must tell you in Bengali as well, like it is very important. If I don't speak Bengali, Bengali is my mother tongue, and it's very important for you to at least request me to tell you the same thing in Bengali, because Bengali can help you give an idea. Bengali and Hindi you can also request. দেখো তুমি কবিতা যদি পড়ি, সাময়িক বিরতি, সাময়িক কিছুক্ষণের জন্য চুপ থাকা, keep quiet মানে তাই। I'm not saying keep your mouth shut. I don't want you to speak at all. If I tell you to keep quiet, it means I don't want you, understood, to speak for a short span of time. Just keep your mouth shut for a few moments. Okay, for a moment. Okay, just to listen to me, just to listen to what someone is saying. That is called keeping quiet, the actual meaning of this phrase. But if you look at, যদি আমরা দেখি, বাংলাতে আমি বলার চেষ্টা করছি যে আমরা কি করছি আমাদের জীবন, আমাদের অস্তিত্বের সংকট। এটা যদি বাংলা কবিতা হতো হয়তো প্যাবলো নেরুদা বলতেন অস্তিত্বের সংকট। অস্তিত্বের সংকট কেন? আমরা নিজেদেরকে নিয়ে এতটাই ব্যস্ত, এতটাই কর্মব্যস্ত, এতটাই বাবাদের সময় নেই ছেলে মেয়েদের জন্য, মায়েরা রান্না বান্না নিয়ে বিউটি পার্লার অমুক তমুক হাবিজাবি, তাদের সবার আগে একটা করে জগৎ তৈরি হয়ে গেছে। আমরা স্টুডেন্টরা প্রত্যেকজন মেশিনে পরিণত হয়েছি। বারবার আমি বলে যাচ্ছি, তোমার মধ্যে ভাবনা, আরে তুই ক্লাস থেকে স্কুল থেকে ফিরে ইনস্টাগ্রাম তোকে টেনে নেয় না, ফেসবুক নিয়ে যায় না, তোকে ইউটিউব ব্যস্ত করিয়ে দিচ্ছে না? তুই নিজেকে কতটা টাইম দিচ্ছিস? তুই তো হারিয়ে আছিস, তুই তো সব পেছনে ছুটে বেড়াচ্ছিস, তোর নিজস্ব কোনো জীবন তো নেই, তুই তো অস্তিত্বে নেই। তোমার নিজস্ব কোনো জগৎ আছে, তোমার প্রকৃতিকে দেখা আছে, ভালোবাসার ব্যাপার স্যাপার আছে, কিন্তু এসব কিছু নেই। চোখ আছে ইন্টারনেট দেখার জন্য, কান আছে বন্ধুদের সঙ্গে আলাপ আলাপচারিতা করার জন্য, আর ভালো ভালো গান টান শুনলাম, ইন্টারনেটকে সময় দিয়ে বসে আছি, বিক্রি করে দিয়েছি জীবনটা। আরে তাহলে তুমি জীবনের মালিক কোথায় রইলে? তুমি তো এই জীবনটার অধিকারী। আর এইরকম ধরনের জীবনযাপন করলে তোমার মাধুর্য, সৌন্দর্য, জীবনের প্রতি ভালোবাসা, পাশের বাড়িকে ভালোবাসা, বাবা মাকে ভালোবাসা, সব হারিয়ে টারিয়ে তুমি একটা অসহায় একটা ব্যক্তিতে কি পরিণত হচ্ছ না? হচ্ছ না কি? যে ব্যক্তির জীবন আছে কিন্তু প্রাণ নেই, যে খায়, ঠিক আছে, যে কি করছে, খাওয়ার জন্য বাঁচছে না, বাঁচার জন্য খাচ্ছে না, খাওয়ার জন্য বাঁচছে। বুঝলে? যে বাঁচার জন্য খাচ্ছে না, খাওয়ার জন্য বাঁচছে। শুধু তুমি তৃপ্তি, তুমি পশু। এই দেখ, পশু আমতে পরিণত হয়েছি না আমরা? যদি খাওয়ার জন্য বাঁচি, একটা বাঘ ঘুম থেকে ওঠার পর ওর উদ্দেশ্য কি থাকে? বনে যাব, কখন মারবো আর খাবো। ওর খাওয়াটাই হচ্ছে বাঁচা। আমরাও তো সেই পশুতেই পরিণত হয়েছি। ইন্টারনেটে দেখাটুকুই হচ্ছে আমাদের বাঁচা। কোন একটা জিনিস ভালো খাবো, এই খাওয়াটাই বাঁচা। আর যারা তোমার বাঁচার জন্য খায় তারা জীবন দেখতে পায়, যারা বাঁচার জন্য খায় তারা জীবন দেখতে পায়। তাদের অনেক কিছু আছে, তাদের প্রকৃতি আছে, সমুদ্র দেখা আছে, বন্ধুদের সাথে মন আলাপচারিতা আছে, মনের কথা বলা আছে, তাদের জীবনে বাবা মা আছে। কিন্তু তুমি যদি বুড়ো হয়ে যাও, বাবা মা থেকেও না থাকার মতো, তাহলে তুমি কত বড় ক্ষতির সম্মুখীন হলে। না তোমার সময় হচ্ছে বাবাকে ভালোবাসার, না বাবার সময় হচ্ছে তোমাকে ভালোবাসার। আর এই পৃথিবীতে তুমি তো আদায় করা শেখোনি। বাবা বাবা বলে আগে যদি জড়িয়ে ধরা, আগে তো আমরা বাবার যখন চাকরি করতেন, অফিস থেকে আসতেন, বাবা আমরা হতে পারি অনেকগুলো ভাই, আমরা 10 ভাই বোন, 3 বোন, 7 ভাই, তবুও তো জড়িয়ে ধরতাম, তবুও বাবা বাবা বলে দেরি করে কোথা থেকে আসি। এই যে ভালোবাসার সম্পর্ক, এগুলো আর কি দেখা যায়? আছে? বাবা মনে হচ্ছে যেন একটা যন্ত্র, আসলো অফিস থেকে, তার কাজ হচ্ছে এটা দেখা, আরে মাস্টারের টাকা দেওয়া হয়েছে, আরে অমুকটা করা হয়েছে, আরে দোকানের বাজার এসছে, ব্যাস এখানেই সীমিত। ইজ দিস লাইফ? মা কোনো করুণা নেই, না মাকেও ভালোবাসি না, এটা জীবন হতে পারে না। আমাদের সংসার আছে, কিন্তু সংসারের যেরকম রূপ হওয়া উচিত, যেরকম অস্তিত্ব নেই, অস্তিত্বে সংসার নেই, সমাজ অস্তিত্বে নেই। সেই আগের ছোটবেলার আমাদের বড় হওয়াটা, আমাদের তো যেখানে বড় হয়েছি সেখানে থিয়েটার হল ছিল, জানো তো, থিয়েটার হল। প্রত্যেক উইকে রবিবারে থিয়েটার হতো, সবাই পার্টিসিপেট করতো, আমরা সব থিয়েটার হলে যেতাম দেখতে। বড় বড় যারা নাট্যকার আসতেন, তারপর আমাদের লোকালে যারা অভিনয় করতেন মানে সাপ্তাহিক জীবনটা কত সুন্দর। জীবনের মধ্যে থিয়েটার ছিল, সিনেমা ছিল, কালচারাল ইভেন্ট ছিল, কবিতা আবৃত্তি প্রতিযোগিতা ছিল, অনেক বয়স্ক দাদু ছিল, অনেক বয়স্ক কাকু ছিল, অনেক বিজ্ঞ ছিলেন তারা। তারা কেউ কখনো কবিতা লিখতেন, লিখে আবৃত্তি করতেন। কোনো কোনো কাকু সুন্দর সুন্দর বাগান ফুল দিয়ে, সুন্দর সুন্দর ফুল দিয়ে সাজাতেন। Like, what is this? This was actually life that was living. এখন কি করি? বাড়ি থেকে, স্কুল থেকে বাড়ি ফিরি, কাজ থেকে বাড়ি ফিরে বাবারা, মায়েরাও কাজ থেকে ফিরে কখনো কখনো, আবার মায়েরা কোনো কোনো কাজের সঙ্গে যুক্ত। এবার এমন নিজেকে ওই নিজেদের জগতে আমরা ব্যস্ত রেখে ফেলেছি। যদি সান হই, ছেলে মেয়ে হই, ইন্টারনেট আমাদেরকে নিয়ে নিয়েছে। যদি আমরা গৃহিণী হই, গৃহিণী আলাদা একটা জগৎ তৈরি হয়ে গেছে তাদের বান্ধবী টান্ধবী মুখ তমুক কাজ নিয়ে। বাবারাও হারিয়ে গেছেন তাদের জগৎ। এবার কি হয়েছে, সংসার কি সংসারের মতো দেখা যাচ্ছে? হ্যাঁ, মা বসে থাকতেন কখন স্কুল থেকে ফিরবো, হ্যাঁ, আসলো জড়িয়ে ধরে বললো, কিরে কি কি খেয়েছিলি, টিভিটা খেয়েছিলি, এই পড়াশুনো পেরেছিস, এই যে বলাগুলো, এই যে অপেক্ষা, তারপর আবার কখনো কখনো ঘুরতে যাওয়া, এই চল আমার রেডিও, চল আবার যাচ্ছি আমরা কোথাও। তো এইসব জিনিসগুলো কি দেখা যায় আজ পরিবারের মধ্যে? খুব বিরল। সেটা যদি খুব কম হয়, তাহলে সেটাকে তো জীবন বলা যেতে পারে না। পারে? এই যে তুমি যেরকম জীবন যাপন করছো, দিস ইজ নট আ গুড লাইফ। চেঞ্জ দ্য ওয়ে। You still have time. Look back on what you have left. কান আছে, প্রকৃতিকে কখনো একটু সময় দাও, প্রকৃতির গান শোনো, কোকিলের কুকু কুকু শব্দটা শোনো, কথা বলাটা, গানটা, সঙ্গীত। সমুদ্রকে গিয়ে কখনো দেখো, ইন্টারনেটের থেকে চোখটা সরিয়ে গিয়ে সমুদ্রকে দেখে আসবে, পাহাড় ভ্রমণ করে আসবে। বেরোয় এই ব্যস্ততা থেকে, এক হও। আর এটা শুধুমাত্র চুপ করলেই, মুখ বন্ধ করলেই সেটা সব এক হয়ে যাবে, সবাই মিলে যাবে, সুন্দর জীবনের শুরু হবে। So now I am going to start the poem. I am sure आपको समझने में कोई तकलीफ हुआ तो बोलिए। हमें ये कविता सिखा रहा है कि हम आधुनिकता मीन्स मॉडर्निटी, उसको इतना मॉडर्निटी में इतना हम लोग खो चुके कि हम अस्तित्व को ही बेच दिए, हम होते हुए भी नहीं है। हो सकता है कि बाहर से आप देखें कि हम जिंदा है, लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी हमें ये बोलते हुए कष्ट लग रहा है कि हूं तो मैं जिंदा, लेकिन वास्तव में जी रहा हूं एक मुर्दा और मशीन जैसा जिंदगी। तो इससे निकालो, 2 मिनट के लिए रुक जाओ। ठीक है, चलो हम लोग अभी आई वुड लाइक टू स्टार्ट द पोएम कीपिंग क्वाइट बाय पाब्लो नेरुदा। Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. You know, the poet wants us to count up to 12 and we will all keep still. It means just count up to 12 and keep still for a moment. What will you see? The stillness, understood, of keeping quiet for a very short span of time will help us to live in the comforting stillness of silence. And the silence, the temporary silence that you get to enjoy by keeping quiet for a short span of time will be of eternal, will be of everlasting happiness. It will be a world of happiness. Maybe it is too short, it is too little in shape, but the world, the temporary world of happiness that it creates will be of immense happiness. Do you understand? This is why the poet says, now we will count up to 12. You know, they just count up to 12. It means the pause. Stop. Understood? Stop for a while. We will all keep still. It means while counting 12, we will all keep still. It means life will come to a standstill. The life that we are leading is full of din and bustle. It is so full of din and bustle, hue and cry, understood? Or drowsery, or you know, uh, uh, clattering sound. You get it? That we have turned into machines. Maybe we look as if we are human beings. Understood? But there is nothing left which we can take pride in. Understood? Of humanity. Of human. Now, for once on the face of the earth, let us not speak in any language. Let us stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. You know, what is this? This is also fine. What is it? For once on the face of the earth in this world, for at least once. It means the poet is protesting against who we have turned ourselves into. Understood? So the poet is saying, for once. Don't do it for twice, just once. For once on the face of the earth. Let us not speak in any language. Let us not speak in any language. What is language? Can you tell me? You forget that? Hello? You forget that you don't have a language to speak. Think like there is no language to speak in this world. Will not the world that we live in will be a world of man? The world that we live in, will not that world be a world of man?
Yes.
Then what is language? It is a medium of communication. It is a medium of exchange of ideas and thoughts between people. And don't you, now the language that used to help us to pour out our feelings or to communicate with one another, to know the others, has turned into barrier or wall that separates us, that separate one brother from another, father from son, mother from daughter. Is this how we have come to this? Is this how we have come to lead our life or live our life? Is not this a very bad thing we are doing?
Yes.
That is why the poet is saying, for once on the face of the earth, let us not speak in any language. Let us stop for 1 second. Not move our arms so much. The arms we have shouldn't be moved so much. Stop the movement of the arms you have. The arms you see in these lines can either be the weapons of mass destructions or the weapon or the thing that disturb the peace and prosperity of human life. Do you understand what I'm saying? For one moment, the poet is saying, for one moment, the poet is so unhappy that even the busy life that we are leading has or doesn't have a minute. This is why he is mentioning second. My God, not minute, second. Let's stop for 1 second and not move our arms so much. You don't just stop for a second. It means we hardly have time for life. Maybe we are living life, but we hardly have time for life. What does life mean here? Life means love for one another. Some time for your nearest and dearest ones. Some time to give yourself. Sometimes for the man who I am. If a life that doesn't have time for the owner who owns this life, then is it a life we are leading? If you look at a machine, the machine doesn't have time. It knows no time. We don't give it time. It only functions when we switch it on. And it is very unfortunate. The unfortunate fact is that even the machine that we operate or that we use needs rest. Because it may malfunction. You get it? So, are we not making use, very, very improper use of our existence? Of the word called man? Are not the modern people in the modern world making misuse of their existence? Even the machine knows rest, whereas the man, a human, doesn't know what is rest. Is this a life?
No.
Now, this is the reason the poet says, not move our arms so much. It would be an exotic moment without rush, without engines. We would all be together in a sudden stillness. This is one of the finest lines. These lines are really, really funny. Do you know the meaning of exotic? Something unusual. What is unusual? Suppose your uncle lives in America. Okay? He hardly comes back to the country of his birth. But suddenly, you saw your uncle sitting with your father and having a heart-to-heart chat. Is not that an unusual thing? The person who left India 20 years back is having a conversation with your dad. Is not it an unusual thing?
Yes.
That is exotic. Here, the poet is saying it would be an exotic moment. It means unexpected, unusual moment. Without rush. Without rush means without what? Endless rush of busy human life. Do you understand?
Yes.
Movement of busy life of human. Without engines, there will be no sound of the engines. We would all be together. If we stop, comes to a standstill, even if it is for a second, it will be able to get back the beauty it lost. Understood?
Yes.
What is this beauty? The beauty of living, the beauty of who we were. Understood? In the world 200, 300 years back. The beauty of living our life. The beauty that exists in the word called life. But as soon as life reached the modern world, we have robbed life of its beauty and we have made it artificial. When a thing turns artificial, it means it is not life, it is a machine. It's no more life. You get it? A life without feelings, without what a life is, cannot be called life. Life consists of certain things: love for your nearest and dearest ones, care, compassion, kindness, fellow feeling, love for society, love for others, love for life. That is called life. And if there is nothing seen or visible in the life we are leading in the modern world, can that be called a life?
No.
So, if you keep quiet even for a second, that 1 second can bring about change, which the poet is calling exotic. Exotic means unusual, strange. And you can get back what you lost. In the trail of time, in the mad rush of life in the modern world, the endless rush. So, my dear, I'm sure that you have got this, you understood these lines. So, I'm repeating, it would be an exotic moment without rush, without engines. We all would all be together in a sudden strangeness. Everything, everything, if the modern life comes to an abrupt end, not abrupt end, I must not say it must not, it just let it stop for temporarily, for a second, and its stoppage, its pause for a second can bring about great change in the modern world, in our life in the modern world. Do you understand? Fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales. The man gathering salt would look at his hard hands. My goodness. You see, it is not it a protest. We are so busy earning and spending money, we don't even have time to look at our hard hands. Understood? Our hands are wearing wounds. Understood? With handling different kinds of works, we have injured, we have wounded our hands. When we don't have time for our wounded hands, then what kind of life are we leading? Do you understand?
Yes.
Is not this a very nice poem? Very, very nice one. Fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales. Yes, the cold sea, understood, has Well, they also are marine life. A life on the land must not do harm to lives that exist in the world of water. In the world, understood, that exists in the sea. How can there be equilibrium if those living on the land do harm to the ones living in the water? Either be it sea or be it rivers or ponds. So we have we have become blind even with eyes. Why? Because we do not see what we should do. If we do harms to the whales in the sea, we are blind even with eyes, because they also have right to live in this world like we have. But we are so busy earning and spending money and keeping ourselves busy in different activities of life that we maybe we have eyes but we hardly see. Maybe we have ears but they hardly listen to the sweet sound of nature. Maybe we have eyes but they hardly see the beauty of nature. When you don't do these activities, it means your life went waste. The beauty of nature, the beauty of the world remained unseen. Or you have left all these things unseen, unheard, yet to be explored. Nature is waiting to be explored. The beauty of nature is waiting to be seen. The beauty, the sweet sounds of nature is waiting to be heard. But you are not doing anything of the sort. Can we call it life? No. Do you understand? The fishermen in the cold sea would not harm the whales. It means the modern world, understood, has turned even the fisherman into a blind person, even with eyes. That's why he is harming the whales in the cold sea. Do you understand? So, if you stop for a second and look back on the result of your action, the fishermen will not harm the whales in the cold sea. Do you understand? The bad activities, the indifference to life is there only because of the fact that we are so busy. The running after our life, running after our own interest, running after the busy schedule of life that we have turned into machines. Only the machines can do harm to the whales in the cold sea. Do you understand? The humming, the killing of the whales will stop if we pause for a moment, if we keep quiet for a moment. Understood? Or if we keep quiet and look back on what we are doing. It means we don't have time to look within. We don't have time to introspect. If we do all the things like Gandhiji did, Gandhiji used to see or introspect at the end of the day. He always saw what he did during the day in the light of his experience. Do you understand? That's how we are not leading our life. Like the old wise men did in the world in the past. Even during Vedic era or even in the modern world hardly see men like that. Understood? The modern world doesn't see, hardly sees men like that. Do you understand? So when you don't have even time to look at your hot hands, it means you really are have turned into a machine. Those who prepare green wars, wars with gas, wars with fire, victory with no survivors, would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers in the shade doing nothing. My dear students, this line is really, really very important. Try to understand. In the modern world, what do you see? Those who prepare, it means those who create, those who are behind, those who organize, those who are the reason for the green wars. Green means nuclear wars. Understood? Wars with nuclear weapons, with weapons of mass destructions. Understood? So, those who prepare, those who are behind green wars, wars with gas. Understood? Wars with fire. You can see wherever you see, even you know, atom bomb was dropped in on Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and America was the country that used atom bomb, and thousands of people, lakhs of people lost their life with a short span of time. So the world will see weapons of mass destructions only if we leave. Understood like this? If we don't stop for a second and look back on what we are doing. Those who prepare green wars will no more prepare green wars. They will change into people who will never be indulging in things like this. And this is why it is necessary to stop. Maybe it is temporary, maybe it is for a second. It is necessary to stop. This is why poet says, those who prepare green wars, wars with gas, wars with fire, victory with no survivors, would put on clean clothes and walk about with their brothers. It means if you fight, if you late the nuclear wars, wars with nuclear weapons, understood, with weapons that can destroy the world, clear, can this bring peace? So the wars that you are indulging in, that the wars that you are creating will destroy the most beautiful we are living. And nobody will live to celebrate the victory of win in the battle. Victory, you need somebody, you need survivors to celebrate. Now you can see Victory Day parade. Who will be if there is no survivor? If there are no survivors, who will participate in the Victory Day celebration? Understood? So don't support. You will not support the nuclear wars with nuclear weapons, with weapons of mass destruction, and the wars that can destroy the whole world. The wars that will not leave brothers, understood, in wearing clean clothes, understood, walking side by side. The brothers will not be one brother, there no brothers will be walking, understood. with another if there is war of mass nuclear war. How can one brother go about the whole city with another brother if we destroy the world with nuclear weapon? Do you understand? How can one brother with how can brothers go about here and there wherever they want? Understood? In the peaceful world, if we destroy the peace with the weapons or with the nuclear weapons that people create. Understood? Are waiting to use. Do you understand now? Did you understand? Can you see brothers walking about with their brothers if the world is destroyed with nuclear weapons? Can you see? That is what the poet is trying to say. It means those who prepare or create wars in this world with nuclear weapons or wars with gas, with wars with fire, victory with no survivors means there will be no. Will it be called victory? The win in this, the win. Will the win in the clear in the war that we fight? Hello, victory in the war that we fight with nuclear weapons. Understood? With no survivors left, will it be called a victory? Will it be called a victory?
No.
If no one is left alive, the war that can leave none of us alive, can that be called? Who will call it a victory? Understood? If there is no one to call it victory, is this a life we are leading? If nobody is left alive, if the war that we are going to fight is leaving no one alive, understood, to celebrate the victory, then what are we doing? We are doing this madness. You can call it madness. Haven't we turned mad? Even with our eyes, we cannot understand the sufferings and the harm we are doing. Is this how we can keep our tomorrow alive? The future generation. When I'm saying tomorrow means future generation. Can we keep our future generation safe by indulging in activities like this? Can we? No, isn't it? And in the shade, doing nothing. It means if we indulge in things like that, nuclear weapons, and those who create nuclear wars, if we are doing this. Actually, Pablo is saying that we are doing this, we are creating wars only because of the fact that we are turned into machine. Understood? Without feelings. Understood? When you have turned into machine without feelings, it means the things like this, you must do things like this. Means you must create wars with gas, with fires, understood? With nuclear weapons. Do you get it? You will do it only when you are a man like that. So, stop, pause for a second, and look back on what you are doing. Stop before it is too late. Understood? Did you understand? Very good. In the shade, doing nothing, it means you even don't have time to rest. It means your head is so full that in the shade, it means you hardly have time to take rest. Even you cannot sleep peacefully at night. It means you spend sleepless night. It means, is this, can I call this heaven? The life of the modern world is passing, understood? Or the modern world or the modern life or the modern men spend their life in hell. Why am I saying hell? Why are they spending their life in hell? Because You even don't have time to sleep well at night. When you go to bed with many things in your head, understood? Tension, work, and all this, you cannot sleep well. Maybe you think you are sleeping, but I must call it a sleepless night. Am I right? Did you get me what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, in the shade doing nothing, there is nobody, is free. Your brain is not free. And you are in jail. That's why I'm calling it hell. Modern life is in hell. Modern life is not in heaven, it is in hell. What I want should not be confused with total inactivity. Life is what it is about. I want no track with death if we were not so single minded about keeping our lives moving for once could do nothing. Perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. My goodness, it's really, really very painful to read these lines. I don't know whether the board is going to fall or not, but it is really very painful to see lines like this. Very painful. I feel like crying. I am when I'm seeing the pathetic condition. If you write a book depicting or describing the pathetic condition or the bad condition of modern life, understood? The poem actually, he has this poem, maybe it looks, the poem may be a few lines, understood? But if you write a book, understood, based on this poem, it is going to be a voluminous, understood? It may be a Ramayana and Mahabharata. The two, it can change into two voluminous book. Very, very big. Iliad Odyssey, Tripitaka. Do you understand? Or Ramayana Mahabharata. So, this line, oh my God, what I want should not be confused. It means what the poet is trying to say. The poet doesn't want the people to either feel confused, understood? He is not trying to confuse you. Don't feel confused. If you listen to what I'm saying, I'm not going to confuse you with what I'm saying. With total inactivity, does this poet mean that he wants you he wants the modern life to come to a standstill? No, the poet doesn't want the modern world or the modern life to come to a standstill. All he says is, why he's saying, don't misunderstand me, actually misunderstanding. Don't misunderstanding me. Understood? Or don't feel confused. Don't think that I am going to tell you to stop doing your work. Stop being who you are. Understood? He just sees what is he trying to say? With total inactivity, it means I don't want the life to come to a standstill. Life is what it is about. Life should be what it is about. Let let live. Live and let live. Live and let live. Don't destroy the beauty that exists in life. Life is what it is about. I want no truck with death. The poet says that life doesn't have connection with death. He doesn't say that you end your life. The life to the modern world is like death. I want no truck with death. What the poet is saying, you people, according to you, the life that you are leading is like that of death. It seems as if your life has come to a standstill, and even if you are alive, you cannot say that you are alive. It seems to the poet as if the people in the modern world have died, even though they call that themselves alive. Understood? So he says life should be lived the way it should be lived. Understood? A life is led. Do you understand now? So the poet says that life should be lived the way it is lived. Live life like people 100 years back lived. Understood? And at least do it for a second. Do you get it what I'm saying? Now, I want no truck with death. It means he doesn't want death. Understood? It doesn't mean that he wants death. It has nothing to do with death. If we were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving, or for once could do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding of ourselves, of and of threatening ourselves with death. If the people who live in this world were not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving, understood, and for once could do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness. It means the sadness that exists in our modern life due to the mad rush of the modern life would have come to an end with the arrival of temporary silence through stoppage for even a second. Maybe you think that I'm going to stop for a second, but what matters is the change lies, the complete change of modern life lies in the temporary pause, in the temporary silence that you get out of a moment that you give the modern life in the modern world. You get it? A change for a second can bring out a change that can solve the problems of modern unhappiness. Unhappiness of modern life. Interrupt this sadness. It means the sadness that the modern life suffers from can interrupt. It means can be broken. Understood? It can be broken with temporary silence that you get out of giving yourself a second. Understood? In the middle of your mad rush of modern life. And threatening ourselves with death. The modern life is always threatening ourselves with death because we have no life, no time left for life. Understood? So, modern life is badly in need of temporary peace, temporary silence. And this temporary pause, silence, or silence for a second can rescue them from the worst condition of their life. Their surge, their rush, endless rush would vanish. Their sadness would have disappeared if they gave only themselves a second and look back on what they are doing. Perhaps the art can teach us as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. Even if you look at nature, what do you see? Hello? What do you see if you look at nature? The earth rotates, hello, on its own axis. Clear? And that's why how much time does it take to complete one rotation? 24 hours, right? Even at the end of the beautiful day, there is a beautiful moonlit night. Is not that the time for the earth to rest? Or for the creatures that live in the forest? Or the life that exists in the oceans and seas? Only we men have turned our life, understood, into machine. But the rest are happy. As the way their predecessor lived, they are still living. We have cut ourselves off from the original beauty of life, from our original existence, from thousands of miles away from who we used to be. And the poet is sad because the modern men have hardly a second left to look back on what they're doing. Understood? So he's saying, perhaps the art can teach us, even the nature can teach us. How can the nature teach you? When you don't have a second, you can. What is the poet trying to say? The poet is saying that you try to set aside a second, some time from the busy schedule of your life. Give yourself some time and look back on what you are doing and look at the nature. Listen to the beautiful sights and sounds of nature and listen to the see the nature to your heart's content. Feel the blow of the gentle breeze and enjoy the beauty of nature to your heart's content. Try to find yourself with union, find yourself in union with nature and let nature influence the beauty. Let nature transfer, let nature keep or share some of its beauty with you. But only when you leave the modern cities and go to the nature. How can nature keep you happy unless and until you go to the nature? The mountains, the seas, the forest, the parks are waiting for you to come just to have a look at its beauty. But you are not doing, deviated from who you are, deviated from who you were 200 or 300 years back. Just change the way of, you can change the way you live your life if you keep quiet. Maybe it is for a second. And that second can bring about change that can help you live in a world of happiness. And that can be heaven. You can, the world can change into heaven only if you give yourself a, or if you set aside a second for your life. Understood? Now, perhaps the art can teach us as when everything seems dead, later proves to be alive. Even the rejuvenation of natural beauty, rejuvenation of the art takes place. You can see it with your own eyes. Am I not right? Don't you see the plants? One plant is dying and the next is coming to life, taking roots. Am I right? If you go and see the nature, look at the beauty of nature, look at the life that exists in nature, and you will feel rejuvenated. You will understand that they are living, but you are not living, as you have turned into a machine. So you just have a look at the beauty of nature. Set aside some time and go to see what you cannot see. See what is unseen, hear what is unheard, explore what is unexplored. If you see the unseen, if you know the unknown, understood, and if you explore the unexplored, then you can say that you are alive. You are not a machine. So, the poet You to be alive, it means the poet says that you are not alive. When he says that, perhaps the art can teach us as when everything seems dead. As when everything seems dead, it means the modern life has come to a standstill. It is nothing left. Modern life has lost its existence. Maybe, they say that they are alive, but they are not alive. They cease to exist. Later proves to be alive. If you look at nature, if you come in touch with it, you can understand what is life all about. So, to be educated about how to live your life, you need to go to nature, see and feel inspired to start afresh. Do you get what I'm saying? Is that clear? Now I will count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. That the finally the poet has come to the end and it's really, really very good. Now I will count up to 12. The poet says that he will count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. Now you keep quiet and he has to go because the cycle of life goes on and on and on. Change the way you live your life because I have done enough. I have told you, given you a clear picture of how we have turned into machine. Still, you still have time. Keep quiet for a second, for he has to go. He already told you all that he had in his mind about the harm that you have done to your existence. Recover. Give yourself a second and enjoy your existence. With this, I come to the end of this class. If you think that you benefited from a lecture on this poem, that is Keeping Quiet by Pablo Neruda, please give me at least one like. Bye. একটা লোক এসেছিল